question before we get started.
Yes.
Is this show sponsored by anyone? There is just not a sign of sponsorship anywhere.
No. Mickey is away at the moment, but we will be hearing from him a little bit later on. He's over in Hawaii at the moment, just having a little bit of a sabbatical.
I think it's about basically, there was a couple of arrests in the world of AFL this week, and I think Nick just thought, no, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to get out of the country.
Probably
He's done the Tony Mockbell. He's put on the glasses and got out.
Big show tonight. Neil Baum's going to be joining us. You happened to see the show last week. You'll understand why we're going to get to the bottom of a very pressing matter. Ty Kennelly's going to join us as well. A lot to talk to both of those men about. It's been...
Let me ask you this. Have you just had a haircut?
As a matter of fact, I have, yes.
Do you go to Ross Lyons Barber? Because I can see 3 different bald spots.
By the way,
I'm loving this. This is great. All care, no responsibility.
well,
drink responsibly.
good time to mention, Lawrence. You are replacing Mick, so if you could do everyone a favour and be about half as funny as you normally are, that would make this transition seamless.
Listen,
Go, Mickey!
It has been a massive week in the world of footy. There's been some big news stories all over the place. Most of them for the wrong reasons, it's fair to suggest, and a few of them we're going to have some difficulty talking about on the show tonight for legal reasons.
Can we discuss Ty Vickery?
No.
Okay.
What about Jake King?
No, we won't be talking about Jake King.
Ali Fahor?
No, best we don't go there either, no.
Nick Riewoldt.
Yeah, you can talk about Nick Riewoldt. Yeah,
Well, what a disgrace he is.
Unbelievable.
No, seriously. He should be stripped of his player's registration, kicked out of his job. I mean, making poor old Griffin Logue look like an idiot.
Mate.
Making him throw the ball and give away a 50-metre penalty and lose the game.
Well, Moon, is that extortion?
That is extortion. That's absolutely.
Well, look at this.
So there's Nick Riewoldt calling.
What's the rule, Murray?
Well, Griffin Logue knows that he's got to throw it back to the player who received the free kick, and that happened to be Tim Membry. But Nick Riewoldt was clearly calling for... I reckon the umpire should have umpired that a bit better and understood what was going on. One of the umpires had to see Nick Riewoldt doing that, and he would have just said, righto, just get the ball back to Membry and let's play on. But technically, the kid got it wrong. He should have got the ball back to Tim Membry.
But anybody that makes an umpire look like an idiot is a friend of mine. Turns out that Griffin Logue, and we had a look at his player profile.
We did.
This is his actual player profile, is in love with Nick Riewoldt.
What are you talking about?
Look at that. The player from another club you would most like to watch. This is genuine, Nick Riewoldt.
This is fair income, right?
All-time favourite player, Nick Riewoldt. And look at this one, 3 from 3. Favourite sporting hero, Nick Riewoldt. He loves the man. We did a little bit of digging. It seems that Griffin Logue might be obsessed with Nick Riewoldt. Just have a look at this. If you won the lottery, what would you buy first, Nick Riewoldt? Favourite food? You'd like to eat a bit of Nick Riewoldt. And favourite professional sporting team, the New York Nick Riewoldt.
It must have been like a dream come true for him then, given all those facts. When he saw Nick Riewoldt saying, throw the ball to me, kid, it must have just been the happiest day of his
He
life.
would have looked up. There would have been a big golden halo around Nick Riewoldt. Because he can't pass the ball to him ordinarily.
Exactly.
He heard Nick's voice. Pass it to me.
Right.
And now he's lost the game.
Yeah.
Think about it.
It's a bit weird to meet your heroes actually on the field. You ever met your hero?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, right now, Sam.
Oh, that's very nice.
Hey, getting back to that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of questions asked during the week about it. Was it gamesmanship or was it cheating? Where do you guys sit on this one?
Well,
Was
I
it
just think it's
gamesmanship or was it cheating from Nick Riewoldt's
great
perspective?
player prank pulled off beautifully. Over to me, throw it to me, and then the old get out of the way. Let it normally smash on the floor.
Yeah.
Throw someone, something breakable.
Oh,
That one. But so I just think beautiful prank.
Yeah, I think gamesmanship.
Gamesmanship's been around forever in the game of football too.
Well,
this has been, since time immemorial, gamesmanship's been part of
Well, it's a
footy.
very fine line, Murray, between gamesmanship and just cheating. And I'm thinking about 1992 when James Manson here in a game against Geelong takes a great mark in the pocket, Loz. It's a great mark.
Flyer.
And then you'd think, he'd just go back and have a shot for goal. But I think that angle may have scared him off.
Right.
Now, you may be wondering, what injury is that? Well, that's him dislocating his own shoulder. Ronnie McEwen takes the kick, Moon, and puts it straight through. And like I said, it's a fine line between, a bit of gamesmanship and just cheating. And the lesson learned here is don't tell Andrew Buse that you cheated.
Music is what for.
Oh, yeah.
But I do love a bit of gamesmanship. Here, Simon Madden, back in the Windy Hill days. He's on an angle. Just show me where the mark is, please, Where is it? Just here? I might kick the goal now. There you go. Against the West Coast Eagles. He just got that through there.
No. That was Richmond.
It doesn't matter, Murray. It really doesn't. No one cares.
That was gamesmanship.
It was gamesmanship through and through.
And that actually was quite successful, as opposed to sometimes gamesmanship goes wrong.
Have you got evidence of this?
Well, Scott Thompson here, who comes up to Barry Hall, who's just trying to do up his shoelace.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, in hindsight, it goes wrong.
Oh.
That is just... Have a look at that. It's like he's got him in the jaws of life then.
Yeah, Barry Hall locks onto it like a pit bull onto a child. He's just not going to let him go, is he?
How did they get Barry Hall eventually off Scott Thompson?
He's still on him.
Well, I think the way you finally break the lock is stick your finger up Barry's bum. So... And I would like to meet the man brave enough to stick his finger up Barry Hall's bum.
Right. Well, gamesmanship exists on the field, Sam, but we know that it stretches beyond the playing fences, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and it seems to be a bit of a St Kilda tradition as well, doesn't it? This happened just this week. The ball goes through. Throw it back. Yeah, chase it, mate. Chase. Our little kid's very cocky.
That is, I would argue, that's being polite. That's St Kilda fan being polite compared to this Richmond, this young Richmond supporter who, look at him hand the ball back.
Is that a young Mick Malloy?
That could be Mick Malloy. We're not really sure who that is, but that's taking it to another level.
I would have thought so. Speaking of taking it to another level, a lot of people who don't know about Lawrence Mooney's footy bona fides, was a very, very fine junior suburban footballer until other things got in the way of all of that. But he has been a lifetime passionate Essendon Football Club supporter, and it's a good week to have you in, Lawrence, because those of us who don't necessarily like the Essendon Football Club get the opportunity to ask you about how you felt about your team with its finals hopes on the line, getting knocked over from nearly 5 goals up halfway through the final quarter by the bottom team last week. How did that sit with you? Was that a nice experience for you?
You may not remember the question, but that's fine. Talking about Essendon.
It's like being interviewed by Brian Lake.
Were you there, Lawrence?
So ostensibly you've invited me in to mock me.
Pretty much, that's pretty much right.
Yeah, I was invited along to the chairman's lunch, and late in the game I was frothing at the mouth and reviewing the list for next year.
Yep. What you do?
It is a good time to do it. Unfortunately, I think I may have adversely influenced the CEO of the club, Xavier Campbell, because I sent out a nasty tweet, and so did he. He sent out a tweet saying, "Not good enough, not even close. Fans deserve so much better. 41,000 came out today, and we let you down." And he apologised to the players during the week for that tweet, though he didn't take it down. And I'm glad he didn't.
As an Essendon member, are you... Because there was some, consternation about that. As an Essendon member, were you unhappy with the CEO going so public about his feelings regarding that loss?
No, I wasn't. I think that it's great to see that passion in the administration because, as supporters, and we all feel this, we're impotent to make any change on the field. And so sometimes players don't understand that we take that sting right into the week as well.
No doubt.
Sometimes you lose your mind when you see players shake hands with the opposition. It's like, and you're still in an apoplectic fit, wanting to bust the furniture.
There you go.
You're containing that rage and working through it.
I thought it was great, by the way. And as you know, Lawrence, you can't get any trouble with Twitter, can you?
No, you can't. And I never have before. I wonder if I ever will. But it was a very good win for the Lions.
Well, it was a great win for Brisbane in 2017. And it begs the question, where does it kind of sit amongst their great wins in recent times? It was such a good performance by the Lions.
Cameron Mooney thought it was a great win.
Thanks, Hutto. Dave, talk about this win. This is one of the great wins for this football club in the last short period.
not up against the 3 premierships in a row, but...
I reckon halfway through asking that question to Dane Zorko, he remembered 2001, 2002 and 2003, which weren't that long ago, to be honest.
Mate, I'll defend.
And he even did a cartoon reverse sound. He did. It's one of the great wins of the...
I'll defend Cameron Moody. It's tough, I reckon. Every week the boundary riders have to come up with new questions and keep things fresh. Sometimes it doesn't always go right. And, have a listen to Brian Lake's question to Adelaide coach Don Pike here.
Oh.
4 wins out of the last 7 games during the week. Some people have called your toughness is probably not up to premiership contending style. Have you used that as extra motivation during the week?
Well, I reckon he might have used it as extra motivation if he understood the question. Do you want to hear that again?
Well, I think we need to.
Have a listen to this again.
And look at Don, too.
Some people have called your toughness is probably not up to premiership contending style.
I think Don is certainly... His thought bubble is... What the... are you talking
Hurry up,
about?
blow the siren.
So, premiership contending style.
I don't know. I've got no idea what that means.
Well,
no idea whatsoever.
Brian Lake did miss the last part of that interview with concussion, so let's be fair there. Okay?
Hey, big show coming up, as I said right from the outset. Ty Kennelly's going to join us behind the bar, and Neil Barham's going to join us here at the bar on the way through. And it's a fantastic week to have Barmy on, let's be honest, because we had some exclusive vision on the program last week, which does beg some explanation from the great man.
Well, we can't wait to...
So it wasn't.
How great is this, Lawrence?
So you can just go up to Punt Road and get a Jeep if you want.
Yeah.
Heaps of them just lying around.
So how this people all week have said, I've had, I don't know about you, but I reckon I've had 100 questions from people saying, how was the other, did it open? So we're going to get Barmy on the show to explain all of that to us a little bit later on, amongst a few other things.
We'll get him to address that too. And by the way, I've got some bad news. It happened again during the week.
What?
It happened again.
Really?
Barmy and a debacle with cars, and once again the cameras were there and caught it all.
Oh, no. Not your car, Barmy.
Not your car, Barmy.
Barmy, this is not your car. And it's not even a Jeep, by the way.
Can I play the music?
Go on.
Okay.
They clearly need some explanation, I would have thought.
I'll tell you what. Who would have thought that took your shot there took 6 takes to do?
And 3 Diva Stormouts too. I can't work with these guys.
We're going to break you away here on the front bar. Ty Kennelly's going to join us on the other side of the road. Neil Barham not too far away from joining us.
Oh, well done, Jim.
I find this one of the most classic Johnson pieces. Captures Kevin Bartlett in full flight, celebration mode. I think it's a wonderful piece.
You know, I love is you can tell which way the wind's blowing by the direction of his hair. It's like a weather vane. He was an old man then, wasn't he?
He was. Even as a young man, he was an old-looking young man.
I've seen a statue of the first Lord Mayor of Melbourne, and he looks older.
It's one of my favourite pieces by Liz Johnson. Norm Smith captures the essence of the 4-time premiership player and 6-time premiership coach.
4 premierships as a player, 6 as a coach.
Correct. Yeah.
Overrated.
You know what else he's captured? The length of your penis.
Magnificent piece. The menace of the man in his delivery stride. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece. Speaks volumes and so evocatively to us all.
Should just take a moment.
Cold, cold carpet, cold experts in the trade.
Boy.
We're moved by those statues whenever you walk around the MCG precinct these days. It's a beautiful place to
And
be.
welcome back to the ABC Sunday Afternoon. My name.
Please put your hands together for our first special guest tonight. Premiership player for the Sydney Swans back in 2005. Extraordinary story. Ty Kennelly, everybody. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. Very good.
You're looking well, mate. You're looking good.
I take care of myself. I'm a good-looking rooster, you know. I do that kind of stuff, don't I?
Sorry, did you just describe yourself as a good-looking rooster?
A good-looking swan. What way do you want it?
Well, I just want to apologise on behalf of my friends here who clearly aren't Celtic like us. I'm a Mooney, so I know that the correct pronunciation of your name is Ty Kennelly.
That's right. Tig. Very good.
Ty. OK. You guys are.
If they go, and it's a long way to go, right? And I don't want it to rain on your parade back in 2005, but if they go all the way from here, having been zipping 6 at the start of the year, and win the flag, which is an outside possibility, your old team, how great will it be the greatest Sydney/South Melbourne premiership success ever?
No chance. We took them to the big dance.
Yes,
It's a long time, 72 years, but it'd be pretty impressive. They've got a long way to go. A long way to go. They've 9 games. They've got to play the top 3 teams all away from home, so they can probably afford to lose 3 of the 9. So look, it's going to be difficult for them. But you know, who wants to play Sydney right now?
No one.
Can I ask you, Tom, what's happened? What happened at the start, and how's it changed?
Not just injuries. The better players weren't playing. You know, it's simple as that. You're losing 7 or 8 players in any team, and certainly Sydney, because of the depth, obviously with the Buddy Franklin and the Tippett contract, the depth isn't there. So then, when your better players are missing, well, you know what? You're going to struggle, any team. But they could have got a couple of wins. But zipping 6, a totally different team now. Obviously, the form team of the competition the last 2 months.
It's hard when you don't have depth, and we're finding that out tonight.
Ty, still on Irish accents. Some good friends of the show, Nas and Richo, had a little bit of trouble talking to my great friend, Conor McKenna, in his 3rd season. Can you help us translate this?
I can.
Sort of heard a bit about him, but didn't really know much about it. So from day one, just went home, and Ma and Dad and all just sort of a bit shocked. But then this ball kept rolling. About 6 months later, I was over here playing AFL. So it's a strange position, but yeah, have to grab it. Like, so no, it's been good so far. You know, just probably Gaelic football. We try different stuff in kicks. We try inside of the boot, outside of the boot. So we're trying not afraid to take risks and stuff. So it's just coming from kicking from 3-year-old, 4-year-old. So just kick it up quick, more or less.
Now, I know right at the beginning he said Mrs. Butter bought some butter, but she said that butter's bitter. But I don't know the rest of the poem.
It's very difficult, obviously, to understand Conor. He's from the north of Ireland. I had a lot to do to get him out here, you know, but elocution lessons, I'm afraid. Yes, Conor is not the best at it, but a bit excited. But I love the 2 boys beside him, how they actually kept a serious face and they had no idea what he was saying. Ultimate professionals.
Is it true that you've copped a bit of flack because your accent has been accused of being too Aussie?
Yeah, mate. Well, I have, yes, certainly. I find it easier, I suppose, when people like yourself can actually understand me. You know, when I'm talking 100 miles an hour, but I'm actually heading home in a couple of weeks, so I'm getting ready for a pasting from my family and friends about my Australian accent.
Oh, really? They get into you?
Oh, 100% they do. Right. Yep.
While we've got you there, though, there's a piece of commentary from your premiership captain of 2005, Barry Hall, that, well, ever since we heard it, Murray,
many years ago,
it's become iconic, and it's baffled us ever since. And we're wondering, what is your premiership captain, Barry Hall? What is he saying here?
Kurt Tippett out of the game. He needs to lift, and he's done so far.
What is going on there? Has that bloke still got his finger up his bum?
I think you might have.
Just in case you missed it at home, I'll give it to you one more time, and then we're coming to you, Ty. Here we go.
Kurt Tippett out of the game. He needs to lift, and he's done so far.
So Kurt Tippett out of the game. He needs to lift, and he's done so far. Ty.
That kid's very insightful from Hawley, I thought. You know, he's got absolutely no idea what he's doing, and hence he's not doing it anymore. The big fella, he's actually
was he a big yapper when he was captain? Did he do the big rah speeches before game?
Not really. It was all action with Hawley, as you saw earlier in the show. He liked to do his talking with his body.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he was a great leader, but obviously we all get caught with the mics every now and then. It wasn't very insightful, was it?
Well, it's tough, by the way. It's tough to make make the transition from a footballer to the media, and no one made it look tougher than Dipper.
Oh,
Anyway, so anytime we talk about boundary riders, it's just an excuse to play a little bit of Dipper. And here's Dipper on the boundary line. With a phone.
I'm not too bad here, Pete. As you can see, the rain is certainly coming down, and I'm with Nathan Brown trying to keep warm, but a very good first
Hey, Dipper, what are you doing with the phone there?
I'm actually speaking to my son on the other side. Right. Anyway, no, joking there. But no, look, we've... sorry, here we are. That's better. I can hear you now.
Oh, it's a tidy looking outfit, isn't it?
Dipper had more luck with his imaginary phone than he did with his real phone.
So many things going on in that one moment. In
Water
Dipper's
on the
life.
lens, you've got the dry as a bone, Man from Snowy River style.
Everything.
You've got the beautiful curls get the girls. It's all going on.
Tig, stick around. There's a lot of things we want to bounce off you throughout the program tonight. Tig and I is going to be with us right through to the end. Celebrity fans have always been part of footy. We know that clubs love attaching themselves, to super international superstars. And I happen to know that Dolph Lundgren, who was at the Gold Coast Suns game on the weekend, had said to his people, when Gary plays his 300th, I want to be there. And he'd made a beeline to come out, needed a Magnum on the way through, but he decided that when Gary Ablett played game number 300, Dolph Lundgren, looking at a picture right there, wanted to be part of Gary Ablett's 300th celebration.
I got the inside word that Dolph was actually on the Gold Coast shooting a movie, a new movie, Rocky, Pirates of the Caribbean 17. So, finally come together. Yeah.
Right, that'd be great.
Well, speaking of celebrities rolling up to footy clubs, by the way, you know the John Cena, the great wrestler and actor.
Of course.
If you'd seen Trainwreck. He is going to be at the Collingwood President's Lunch.
That's right.
This Saturday.
Woo!
I know for a fact. And he will be presented the iconic handing over of the jumper, of which usually the celebrity has no idea what's going on. But I am looking forward to that. And the big question will be, I suppose, if Collingwood get up, will John Cena be invited into the inner sanctum and get to sing the song like Rob Lowe did back in the 2003. Have a look at that, and you can see Rob Lowe, they're singing the song with gusto, and I tell you what, special moment. And wasn't Nathan Buckley thrilled?
Not happy.
Buck's not happy there at all.
That's sacred territory in there.
Is it?
That's sacred territory
So,
in there.
first of all, you've got to know the song.
Yeah, that helps.
Or maybe Bucks wasn't a big fan of St Elmo's Fire, which I thought was probably Lowe's strongest movie. Welcome back to Arts on Sunday.
Ty, you don't want this. You don't want the celebrities in the song at the end of the game, do you?
Well, probably not the song, but you don't mind them. You want to rub shoulders with them. Get them on time.
Did you rub shoulders in your time at Sydney? Did you rub shoulders with any big players?
A couple. When it's a hot ticket in Sydney, when it's a sellout game, everyone wants a piece of the SCG and the Swans and you're winning. So
Mate, no, don't put any mustard on it. Just name the things, all right? Who's been in there?
The ultimate couple. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were in the rooms after
That's
a game.
true.
Really?
Yes. Nicole's a big fan of the Swans. So,
Did you have
but
to
we know
bend
how that
down?
turned out for Tom, obviously. So.
Did you have to kind of bend down to rub shoulders with Tom? Because he's a wee fella. He's a little fella.
He's a wee leprechaun, all right.
Hey,
Well, based on that.
yeah, go on.
Based on celebrity jumper presentations,
Yes.
I'm bringing back an old segment.
It's back, is it?
Yeah, it is.
What is it?
It's time now for Sam's 6. Wow.
We spent so much money on the opener, we had to get it back at least one more time before the season was done.
Did someone say to you, one more finger, Sam?
It took me 6 takes to get that right, but we're going to carry on. This is, by the way, the 6 greatest celebrity jumper presentations in football history.
Okay.
At number 6, I'm going to start back at Collingwood 2 with Nathan Buckley and Mr. Bean. Isn't that great, Lon? But also, by the way, Mr. Bean really got into it. He went into the gym and was on the rowing machine with Brodie Holland, so that is amazing.
It's a very vivid head, isn't it?
It's extraordinary.
Number 5.
Yes, number five.
Our great club, Andy,
Yes.
back in the day, presented John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg with some jumpers. Have a look at that. They were arch rivals on the on the court.
They were. 81 Wimbledon finals. You love your tennis, though, don't you? You love your tennis.
Don't do that. Don't
You do.
that.
How are you feeling about Bernard?
I
Because you love Bernard.
hate tennis.
probably a good time to suggest that you are aware of the fact that Wimbledon will be on after us on 7 tonight.
Well, and it's a great game, but I just don't understand.
Please.
Oh, 6 points. I've played 6 points.
Yeah.
Kind of sit down. Oh, I need a towel. Oh, pass me that ball. I can't believe there's not more deaths in tennis, by the way.
And what an arbitrary scoring system too. 15, 30, 40 and then game, as opposed to 6 points or 1.
By the way, we're quickly finding out why we don't do Sam 6 that often. Hey, number 4, celebrity jumper presentations. Once again, it's back to Collingwood and The Rock with Bucks. Have a look at those pipes. The Rock, by the way, he didn't really care. If you just presented him with a jumper, he'd wear it. There he is with just a Sydney. Your boy Kurt Tippett. That was number 4. Number 3, by the way, let's just get a little bit religious here. And the Dalai Lama with a Sydney jumper here.
13th son of the Lama.
Very, have a look at that. Now, I don't know much about Buddhism, but apparently disloyalty is not really that important because he was happy to be photographed with a Collingwood jumper straight away.
That was a previous life. Happy with that one.
What are we up to? Wow, only number 2. Who would have thought? Hey, what about this one? Once again, back to Carlton. This is Carlton. This is Bruce. This is Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac being presented with a jumper. Carlton, by the way, went above and beyond. Not only did they present Mick Fleetwood with a jumper, they got someone who looked like him to present it to him. Look at that. There's Bruce Dool and Mick Fleetwood.
That is magnificent.
And
Avco Finance, one of the great companies. How do they go in the GFC, Sam?
They went Avco Finance. Where are they? Hey, what's the last one? I'm trying to work out what the last one was.
Oh, this is a good segment.
You know,
This is a good segment.
This is tight, this
I'll tell
segment,
you what,
Sam.
now, okay, number 1, the greatest jumpers, the greatest celebrity jumper presentation of all time was when Brisbane handed a jumper
to an umpire.
What did you say?
I said they've clearly given one to an umpire.
No, that is, of course, the great Ray Charles. They handed him that was my number 1 greatest celebrity jumper presentation. Do you think we'll see Sam 6 again, Mark?
I think we will.
Really?
No, mate, the people love it. I know.
The people have spoken, Sam.
We're going to get a break here away on the front bar. Ty Kennelly's going to stick around. Don't go anywhere. When we return, the one and only, the great Neil Barnes to join us.
Barmy, chocolate or sprinkles?
Sprinkles, please, Sam.
There you go, Barmy.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Welcome back to the front bar. One of the great men of football, whether he be playing, coaching, commentating or joining us here on the front bar, please put your hands together for Neil Barmy.
Nice work, Barmy.
I'll never get another job.
All the things you've done in footy, did you think it'd lead you to Mr. Whippy Van at Punt Road one of these days?
No, not really. No.
You're very much a method actor, though. I get the feeling you might have had an ice cream before.
I have. It's one of my great weaknesses.
Right.
Barmy, we're desperate to know. We talked about this last week. It was a front bar exclusive and it sent tremors through the football world. What happened? What happened here?
Well, I was going out to show everyone how you don't do doorstops. And poor old Tommy Brown wants to know about Basher Hurley, and I said, watch this. And I went to get in my car, and it wasn't my car. And it was open, the door was open. It's Dom, one of the guys who work, it's his car, and his key wasn't working, so it was open. But I got in, and I saw there was it wasn't my car, so I thought I better get out. And once it had happened, I went back to the media girls and said, I think we're in trouble because they've got all this on film. Right, this is not going to go away.
So avoiding that awkward doorstop moment, how'd that go for you?
Not that well.
No.
Is it true that you said to Brendan Gale, the CEO, before heading out to your car, that watch this is how you avoid it? Is that true? You said that?
It was to someone. It may have been him.
Well, by the way, you should have known better than that, because that's not the first time that the cameras have caught you in a mildly embarrassing situation, Barmy. I'm thinking about 2009 down at Geelong. Gary Ablett giving a press conference there.
Well, there you go.
In you go. That's fine. That's not that. bad, Barney, but tell you what, your exit was even bigger, wasn't it, really?
Gone so quick and
Have a look.
Oh, whoa. No. Well, I did chat to you about this. There was a reason why you were blowing out like that, wasn't it? And it's not what everybody thinks.
I think it was the result of the game. If you time it, I wasn't in there for very long, so figure it out for yourself.
No, that's on...
It does look like the other.
That was on time delay, mate. That was 3 hours later.
Good, mate.
You've come out and got a new idea and gone back in.
Does it feel... I mean, this is a bit hackney, but does it feel like you've sort of come home a little bit now that you're back at Richmond, you know, having played?
Oh, yeah. And you don't sort of think about all that much because you work where you work, but it's great to be back. And I've been very welcomed. So
do you remember this time? 73 grand final. You were a powerhouse back in those. I mean, you're a super talented player.
There you are. There, we just thought we'd show you a
point,
kicking a point. So that's no. But
well, it's rare that I'm in a highlight and actually getting the ball.
There you go.
I'm quite happy.
We're not going to show you the other ones.
No,
too much respect for you.
It must be nice wandering into the reception area there. There's 2 premiership cups, and behind them are photos that you're in.
Oh, no, it is true. Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
And the game, of course, has changed. Now there's all about recovery. The recovery on a Sunday was a little bit different. Care of World of Sport. Let's have a look at this. Tug of war. There's Richmond versus Essendon.
That's Royce Hart.
It is, yeah.
Best player in the game.
Do you reckon they'd let them get involved in the tug of war now?
I reckon you'd struggle to get players to do it. Georgie, good on you, George. Pull harder.
Yeah, but there's Sheeds carrying on like a lunatic.
With a big win, Lawrence, so that was always a good thing. The 3 of those players missed the game next week with neck injury. But it was just a different time back then, wasn't it?
So there's... In that shot there, there's Barrett, there's Sheedy, there's Hart. I mean, through the great...
Francis Burke.
Was Berkey in that shot as well?
Yeah,
he wasn't in the tug of war, but he was barracking.
How great a time was that to be playing footy at Richmond?
Well, it'd be better if you weren't in the tug of war, I'm sure.
I mean, that was before your time, obviously. But
that was 1970. I think I was around then. But
you would have been called up for that for sure, wouldn't you?
Oh, I think they finished about then. I was never required. I would have been a good not man, I reckon. Now, not so much in those days.
Because we ask the big questions on this show, don't we?
Well, of course.
Yeah, it's turned into a tug of war show, and that's really... How would you go about your tug of war?
Barney, I've got a question for you. Here we go. You, like you said, you've been involved in the game, playing, coaching, administration. You go so far back that you remember when players had jobs.
We all had real jobs.
What were your jobs? What were your real jobs?
Well, I worked for a packaging company for a long time. Yeah, it was. It's kind of easier for players then than it is now because now you're totally committed to footy, and then you get to 30 or 28 or 32, and you've done virtually nothing. You've done a lot of things, but virtually nothing else that you can go to. So at least we had regular jobs as well as playing footy. So it was easier for us to organise our lives, and we didn't have to worry about spending all that money we made either because there wasn't that much money in it. But, but there was reasonable money, to be fair.
When you say packaging company, were you putting the stuff in the jars or putting the lid on?
More ice cream than anything else.
Well, because we found this photo, by the way, and speaking of players with jobs, your great teammate Barry Richardson was a physiotherapist, and of course your other job was as a porno actor. That was...
I'm the patient there, in case you hadn't figured that bit out.
There, and it's nice that you're wearing those same jocks tonight. Mate, can you remember that photo?
Oh, I can, vividly, yes.
What is the implement resting on the inside of your leg?
Oh, that was they had a machine, the physios, that ticked, and that's what did all. As long as it ticked, they were able to charge you, I think, if you ask Bones.
So a ticker?
It's the ultrasound, I think it was, yes.
I think they've got those still around these days, haven't they?
Yeah, probably,
haven't changed that much. There's more of this sort of stuff coming with Barmy on the other side of the break. Ty Kennelly's going to stick around. Don't go anywhere. More Front Bar after this.
Who's better, Mark? Warwick Kappa or Sean Smith?
Oh, Sean Smith.
Sean Smith.
Sean Smith's the real deal, flies high.
Oh, Warwick all the way.
Kappa. Warwick Kappa. Sean Smith.
But who's a better player, Bob Skilton or Robbie Flower?
Flower, without a doubt.
Robbie.
Robbie Flower.
Robbie Flower.
Oh, Skilton for sure.
Got to be Bobby.
Bob Skilton. I don't know either of them, but I'm going to say Robbie Flower.
Yeah. Got the wrong hat on. Who's a better actor, Brad Pitt or Clayton Oliver?
Clayton all the way. Clayton Oliver.
Definitely deserved the Oscar.
Oh, Clayton.
Clayton Oliver.
Well, Brad Pitt is an actor.
I mean, I'd have to say Brad Pitt. Just. How old were you when the D's won their last flag in 1964?
2. I was not even born. I wasn't alive.
Probably about minus 30 or something.
Negative 28.
I was minus 20.
Negative 46.
The pub test, fresh from the punter's mouth.
Welcome back to the front bar. We'd love you to be involved in the show anyway on the social media platforms. There they are down there, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. I'm getting better at that, aren't I? Knowing what these things are.
Social media, you said it like you almost know what it is.
I'm all over it these days. Generationally challenged, but I'm getting there. Neil Barmy, our special guest, Ty Kennelly's still over at the bar. Barmy, and I want to ask you what it's going to take him to get him out in a minute, Ty. When will we find out about Dustin Martin?
When he's ready.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, the AFL has set it up so that there's a free agency period, so you've got to expect that the players will take advantage of it. So he's got to... What's out there, there's no rush for him to make a decision.
Are you one of these... If it wasn't your club involved and we were just having a chat over a beer... Would you say, the fact that he hasn't signed by now, it's a worrying sign? Are you one of those?
No, I'm not part of the media, so I don't.
No, but just as a man,
you are tonight, Barmy.
Right. Sorry. Now, do you subscribe to that? Do you subscribe to that rule of thumb or not?
No, not at all. There's plenty of examples of that not being the case. But I genuinely believe that he will play with the Tigers. But I mean, I'm too close to not say that, but he will. Why wouldn't he?
What would it take to get him out of there, do you reckon? Let's say Richmond are going to offer him $1 million a year. What does it have to be over that to get him out of the joint?
Well, the reason free agencies come in is obviously the players have been at football clubs. You know, the clubs don't have all the strength. That the player now has actually got the opportunity to go and get the market price, and that's what Dusty's going to do. So if a club comes to him and gives him 1.5, no offence to Richmond, well, you think he's going to take it. Is Dusty Martin, 1.5 a year? Probably yes. And his ability and his leading hot favourite for the Brownlow, you know, it puts Richmond in a funny position because...
position?
If he leaves...
I find it humorous as well.
Well, an awkward position for you, Barmy.
Better word.
But he leaves and they've left. And Josh Kelly's already signed with North Melbourne or somebody else. Dusty's not helping his own club out, obviously. But the longer it goes on, you know, it's a Gary Ablett situation, isn't it? People look that way and... That's what it looks like.
Well, but that'd be a good argument. You look at Gary Ablett now. He played his 300th game in front of about 100 people the other day. You'd say to him, where would you have rather played your 300th game? Should you have stayed at Geelong or should you have taken the day? I reckon, maybe...
His bank account to be saying... Done a good job.
Well,
can I just say, Murray, you've lost control of the show. By the way.
I beg your pardon.
Off the back of what Barmy was saying,
the dream come true.
Yeah. Off the back of what you were saying about Gary Ablett playing his 300th in front of 100 people. I mean, there was a lot of people, there to welcome him to the ground when he turned up. As you can see here,
he's already on his way back to Geelong. He's got
he has to dodge around 2 people coming up. Thumbs up. Maybe that's the way he likes it. He's a quiet man. He's got his apple.
I tell you what, being a Gold Coast player, that just must be like the walk of shame, by the way. Just going to the ground.
Don't tell me that footy hasn't won the heart and minds and the people of the Gold Coast.
It's been an excellent export call.
That's unbelievable. Should he...
And that's not being negative to him. He was entitled to make whatever decision he made, but they're the things that Dusty, for example, has to take into account. What do I actually want to do? Do I want to make a bucket load a day, or do I want to make nearly a bucket load a day and play where I want to play? Which is reasonable.
Were you at Geelong when Gary left, though?
I was, yes.
What did you think?
Oh no, it was. See, then it was set up by the AFL. Really, the Gold Coast is the AFL club. They made the rules to say that anyone out of contract we can pick up and take to Gold Coast. They can pay them whatever they like because we'll manipulate it so they can. They paid him a huge amount of money that Geelong couldn't possibly compete with, so he goes there. And so, we had to respect that and wish him all the best. And in a way, maybe it's the best thing to happen. Maybe that's what makes the world go round, because the next year Geelong wins anyway. It was a miracle that year because the new coach, best player gone, and they still win. So he says, well, it doesn't really matter. But it was a bit of a pity.
Sounds like you're taking a bit of credit for that, Bum.
I'm taking no credit.
So you're talking to us with your administrator cap on tonight. We've spoken to you a little bit about being a player. Your coaching, when you look back on the coaching days, was any of the coaching fun, or was it just too tough? Was it the pressure on the coach at this level too tough?
Well, as you probably guess, I don't do anything unless you can have some fun.
Some fun,
in it.
yeah.
So that there is even in coaching, there's fun, and it's a fabulous challenge. It's a wonderful thing to do because all the people that are playing for you are playing at their peak. They're doing their best. They're preparing, and you're in the best competition going around. Whether it's here, I coached in Adelaide for a long time as well.
Yeah,
And I loved it. I really did. But it wasn't until I walked away I realised that I had a knot in my guts. You're worrying about what's next. So the fun does go out of it a little bit, but it depends on your approach. If you've got a positive, optimistic view of the world, you'll enjoy coaching like you'll enjoy everything else. But you can see how it can get to some blokes.
But you are a demonstrative man. You don't leave much hidden away. And clearly here you look like you're having a lot of fun when Jeff Farmer takes this mark and handballs over the top to Gary Lyon. Can you just run us through your thoughts? Because there's some words said there. I'm not a lip reader. Over the top. Gary, there you go. He kicks it, but it has to go back.
It's amazing that it's like a poker face, though. I mean, we don't know what you're thinking.
Why is it?
How could such a beautiful player like Jeff know? He just knew what he was doing. Handball to the back of Gary's head. What was that?
Barmy, a joy to have you on the front bar. Thanks for clearing up what happened with the cars last week. We're all a bit wiser for it. And don't be a stranger. You can come back in.
Pleasure.
Neil Balme joining us on the front bar. Our very special guest. Ty Kennelly going to stick around. There's more to come as well. Don't go anywhere. Nick Monty not too far away. The update from Sports.
Thanks, Barmy.
Ty Kennelly, our special guest over behind the bar. Hey, Ty, is it true that because you are an active player now in dragging the best young Irish talent out of Ireland to come over here and play in Australia, is there a little bit of persona non grata with you back in the homeland?
It's a small bit, yeah. They've taken down my statue, and so I'm a bit disappointed. No, there is. Look, what I'm doing, I'm recruiting some players from Ireland, US and New Zealand, and trying to get them into the game over here. So I've taken a couple of kids from my own hometown, basically, in Kerry, and people aren't too happy about it. I'm heading back in a couple of weeks, so I'm a bit nervous, actually, to get to immigration and see what's going to happen to me, if they're going to leave me into the country or not. But, yeah, look, to be fair, I knew it's coming, because you take the best kids out of the country.
Because they're as passionate about their Gaelic football over there, in fact, probably even more so, if it's hard to believe, than we are about our AFL football over here.
100%, and it's very tribal in Ireland. You know, it's where you come from, it's where you play, and that's where it is. What football was like here, obviously, back in the day, in the suburban football, and you stayed that's where you're born, that's where you played, and that's very much what Gaelic football is about at home. So, look, I'm expecting it, but it's not going to stop me. You know, I'm giving opportunities to young Conor McKenna there and those guys, and I'm giving opportunity to be professional footballers.
Keep tearing families apart.
That's right.
I could tear my family apart. Yeah.
Once upon a time, they sent their worst, and now you're taking their best. So.
What about international rules, Ty? Where do you stand on that?
Oh, it's a great game. Playing for your country, you know.
Really?
So I absolutely loved it. I played against a few teammates, ex-teammates. The Swans boys played for Australia. So, yeah, I'm very passionate about it.
Well,
what have you got for me?
No, I hate it more than tennis, but that's just... I have no love for that game. You think it's all right?
Oh, I think it's... No.
Well, all games have got to start somewhere, don't they? You've got to try and grow the game.
All I'll say to that, Lawrence, is I think if the highlight of an international rules series is a Jack Russell being on the ground... By the
Look at him go.
And Ty, by the way, that's not fun. This is fun.
That's
this is having a real go.
Look at that. It goes to touch.
That's me. Ty, were you playing that game?
That was me with the socks up, with Jude Bolton actually chasing after me. So I've got a great picture at home with I'm about to grab the ball, but the Jack Russell's in between my hands and the ball. I actually didn't know what to do. Jude Bolton's behind me tackling, so it's a great occasion, international rules.
Absolutely, it's a great occasion. My problem with that is why leave a Jack Russell on for 8 minutes? It's a bad rotation. I mean, you've got to, after 5, get the Great Dane on, get some height down forward.
8 minutes. That's a disgrace.
Ridiculous.
It's not the first time a dog has turned up in Aussie rules football. We found this during the week, unseen footage of a German Shepherd at the Lakeside Oval. And a terrific dog owner there, just taking the dog for a run. No interest in getting it off the ground. Oh! Where's your plastic bag, lady? Where is your plastic bag?
Oh, dearie me.
Different time back then. Someone say a better time.
A better time, Sam.
Almost like a Just Jeans commercial. It's terrific.
I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of commentators. And by the way, you're a commentator, or you know.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Comparing players to other players. Like, for instance, who would Ty? You saw here all his career.
Yeah,
Who would you compare him to as a player?
Well, I would compare a young Carlton fella who's also Irish, Kieran Byrne. I would compare Kieran Byrne to you. If I said to someone, Kieran Byrne reminds me, I'd say of Ty Kennelly.
We do it all the time in our industry. Footballers, you want to compare past players or up-and-coming players. But, yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, but all I'm saying, Ty, it's a bit of a cliche. That's why I'm talking to Bruce McAvaney, by the way, when his comparison with Mason Cox. We've heard it 1,000 times, Bruce.
He can find a target here. Cox is it. Got it.
That's what they need him to do.
When you see him do that, he's a bit like Irene van Dijk, the South African netballer, the golf shooter when she first came out. Just too big.
Now, we've all followed the game for a long time. How many times have commentators compared a modern-day player to Irene van Dijk?
I'm sick of hearing her name. I've had Van Dijk up to Pussy's Bow. Come on, Bruce.
Come on.
Move on, Bruce, for God's sake. We're going to get a break out of the way. There's no Mick tonight, so there's no mixed multi. As we go to the break, we'll be back after it. We're going to get a sports bet update from Nathan Brown.
Hi guys, just checking in from Hawaii on my mid-season break. I just want to thank Sam for sending me regular updates on the AFL results. Thanks, mate. Can't believe Richmond got beaten by Port by 15 goals. Again. He'll also explained his other messages that Damien Hardwick's been sacked and the Dusties accepted a 5-year deal to go to Carlton. Jeez, I'm devastated. Mind you, he also told me Brisbane had beaten Essendon, so I'm starting to think he might be bullshitting a bit. Anyway, have a good show. Sorry I can't be there. I can only hope you didn't replace me with some no-name hack like Lawrence Mooney. Cheers.
Right, Lawrence, time for the last shout. You are in the last shout, Chair. This is where we raise a glass to somebody or something that has touched you this week.
Well, when your team goes down to the bottom side, you've got to look for a consolation, and that consolation is which person did that victory make happy? And I had the pleasure of meeting a man called Tony Ongarello, a Fitzroy champion who played his last game in the preliminary final in 1960 against Collingwood. And he is an AFL-VFL legend because Tony Ongarello was the last man to kick a goal using a place kick. He kicked it against Geelong in 1955, and a place kick, if you don't know, is very similar to NRL, where you make a divot in the ground, you put the ball down, take a few steps back and kick it through the goals. And so I met the great Tony Ongarello, beautiful man, aged 84, still goes for the Lions. Good on you, Tony. Go Lions.
You going to try one really quickly before we go?
You can still do it. Set shot. I'd love to see a set shot. Buddy Franklin might do it in the weekend, put it down and have a crack from 60.
Yeah, well, as a Carlton supporter, Levi Casbolt can try it any time. Do something.
But we don't have a sand boy, of course, so you've got to dig your own divot now.
Indeed, you do.
Players want to do that. Yes, that's right. So I was outraged out there.
Mate, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a joy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Ty Kennelly, one of the great men of Irish and AFL football, of course. Thanks to Neil Barn for joining us on the show. We're done and dusted. Hey,
big thanks to Lawrence.
You've been superb tonight.
I know, and I'll never be back.
Absolutely superb. Thanks to the studio audience. Thanks to you for watching out there as well.